Okay.
Captain's log, stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission. And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them. Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy.
I know, right? Hi, Brick.
Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good. Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute. Jara Rydek. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
Thanks.
No problem.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
So what should we say here, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Kayla, I already said hi to you. Like through the screen. Alright, we'll go with 3. We'll let Ensign Kayla have the first choice.
Stick around in Starfleet and you'll be sure to see worse than this. I have.
And you're here to talk about it.
In the flesh.
That's good.
Apparently he liked that.
Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this. But if she's half the officer I knew she could become when she was a cadet at Starfleet Academy, she'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
This is after the Next Generation movies. but there really I've played through it once. There really aren't any spoilers, and I don't believe we've seen the Resolute before. No, I think it's new for the game. It's a Centaur class ship, which we have seen before, but not this particular ship.
A starbase on the very edge of Federation space. Long way from home now.
Sweet.
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the Academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the Academy. So, there's that.
Y, X, or A? There's a bit of a delay, so I'm gonna go with... Okay.
Only top 20, huh? So I guess there's room for improvement.
Well, it's really, really hard.
So I've heard.
Please place your hand here. Hold it there for a few seconds. Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalin test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground, so to speak.
But that's your specialty. I think we're gonna say X.
Well, now you know. Keep your eyes and ears open and you might pick up on things.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
Good day, Commander.
If I remember my briefing, Commander Ermot is a Bolian, so I'm looking for someone with blue skin. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here. The Resolute is leaving from this dock.
Oh, you're right. Nerves must be getting to me. Thanks so much, Commander.
I thought the elevator doors were gonna take his arm off.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks. Excuse me, have you seen a Bolian around here?
Yes, sir. Right back there, near the replicator.
Ah, there he is. Thank you.
Happy to help, Commander.
I'll replicate myself a meal once I'm on board. Excuse me.
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander? I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now. I know conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
I feel like Caleb would suggest we say, I can take it. Because that's what they said. There you go. Are you happy? That's what I'm thinking.
It takes more than a little turbulence to rattle me.
I'm sure that's the case. We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
What should we pick here? Y, X, or A? Yeah, she's not wrong. There is some questionable items in the original series. It's been a while since I've watched it, Brick.
You can spare me the flattery, Mr. Ermot. I'm here to work.
Duly noted. I'll stick to the matter at hand. The USS Resolute. She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
The equipment malfunctioned. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew. At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other. That's what it means to be a crew.
What do you think, folks? Should we be understanding or judgmental? I see that. This is going to be an interesting playthrough with your choices.
With hundreds of crew members aboard the ship, it could have been so much worse.
True, but you never think about it that way. You can't help but replay events in your head and think about the things you could have done instead. Listen, I realize you've known Captain Solana for quite some time, and I'm sure you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
See you, Brick. Thanks for stopping by. I guess we're just gonna go with the Savage playthrough, so we'll do Y.
All due respect to anyone that feels that way. They're gonna have to get over it. I'm here, and I have a job to do, just like anyone else.
That's true, but I wouldn't say it like that. Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region. I'll let the captain brief you on board. I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
Stuck. I got just the thing.
I know what you're thinking, Kayla.
Is that?
Lower decks! Lower decks!
I thought that thing was totally fried. Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Millie.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
I like how the game tells you to press the stick in to run, but then doesn't let you do it once you leave the shuttle bay.
Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovok called us down for, it's something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
What's the matter, Millie? Afraid of a little hard work?
A little hard work? Really? A little? 6 months of putting this ship back together is a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and here we are. Just about ready to go.
Looks like we got here before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovok.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Edsolar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edsolar on repeated occasions.
Y or X? Because I agree with X. Almost late is not late. I'm going with X.
Well, Commander Chovak, isn't it true that if we were almost late, it categorically means that we were not late?
That is correct, Mr. Diaz.
I mean, if anything, Edsolar and I are following the schedule to the letter.
Yes, perhaps I should adjust the schedule accordingly.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. But this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood. But many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
I don't remember what I picked here the first time I played through, so what do we want to do? Ensign Kayla says A.
Commander, if this energy storm is causing problems here at Space Dock, what does that say about what we're gonna find when we head out there for real? Shouldn't we let this storm pass?
Long-range sensors show that conditions will indeed be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. Thusly, we are taking all necessary precautions. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes,
Roger
Commander
that.
Chovak. All hands on deck.
Oh, what's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovak said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out, and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule. Consequences be damned.
Now, you gotta have some faith, Nilly. Starfleet Command wouldn't send us out if we weren't ready.
6 months ago, I probably would have said the same thing. But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa. Excuse me.
Watch it, dude.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
X. That's what I was gonna
Been through
pick
a
too.
whole hell of a lot as a crew. They're gonna have to prove themselves before they're really one of us.
Yeah, you're right. Anyone could look serious in a clean uniform. Show me what you can do when everything's falling apart. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm going with A.
Don't talk badly about one of the best ships in all of Starfleet.
We've rebuilt enough of her by now. She better be one of the best.
We'll see about that. But I am glad to be here. He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy.
Ah, Saurian brandy.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
Oh. You do.
Let me help you.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa.
Good to go. See you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
The controls are inverted, and I haven't played in a while, so I'm not used to it yet. So I keep trying to push the controller the wrong way.
That view never gets old.
Let's go.
Hey, that's a steam runner class back there. I love those stupid little ships. All hands?
Captain Solano should be here momentarily. You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
So as far as I am aware, Kobleods are a brand new species made up for the game. Well, Hi, Allison. Let's poke around the captain's ready room, because we literally don't have any other choice.
The first mineral Captain Solano ever discovered.
Nice, Maddie.
Always was the nostalgic type.
Jara
Oh,
Rudek.
interesting.
Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrid Expanse.
So I'm going to pause here because when I played through this the first time, like, he did not walk in those doors until I had looked at everything in his ready room. Like, I had to examine everything. So I wonder if it's pulling from a different save and it knows that I've already looked at it, or if there was something different with the choices that I made up until this point that made him come in right away. Well, Ermot does not appear to like me because he's got a giant frowny face. Calloway, yeah, it might be because of your petty answers. Calloway seems like he's all right.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute. My only regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare. But, unfortunately, we've had our hands full with the refit.
No, Smitty, none of these characters are from Lower Decks. Yeah, I had a feeling that's what you were gonna want to pick. Ensign Kayla has been making Jarrah very petty.
I have to admit, I was expecting something bigger. At least a marching band or a parade.
We'll see if we can't make up for it somehow. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
We're going with Y. I'm thinking why specific, especially if you want to go the petty path, specifically because Ermot said it wasn't an accident. That would mean that someone was at fault. It was just a malfunction. Or do you have something else in mind?
I assume you mean the accident.
That's right. The tragic accident, really. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career? Right there. Within our grasp. Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient
Not the entire
way
time.
beyond what the ship can handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people.
But yeah, that is a primary aspect of the game, is choosing what response you want. The characters also remember and react depending on how you respond to them, so different responses will elicit different reactions, which means they'll treat you differently later in the game, which is going to affect the story and how it goes and how different characters work with your character.
As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
What do you think, folks? Y, X, or A? Okay, let's go with A.
You have to look to the future. You can't dwell on the past, on things you can't change.
There's nothing that can be done about it now. In my defense, I will say I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO. I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
Do we just go with what our captain wants without question, or do we ask what happens if someone doesn't agree with him? I don't know if they've covered it in Strange New Worlds. I like Y too because I don't know if they've covered it in Strange New Worlds, and it's not really much of a thing, but in TOS. But in most of Star Trek, the first officer is there to, like, not just blindly follow the captain's orders, but make sure the captain's orders make sense. In most cases, the first officer and the captain are going to agree. But occasionally there are circumstances where they are not.
And what happens if they don't?
There's a chain of command for a reason. We all have our orders.
That's true. Everyone on this ship should know that.
Sometimes the occasional reminder doesn't hurt. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
Yeah, everybody hit the smack that like for Ensign Kayla, who is confined to sickbay at the moment because of some unknown virus that she brought back from her away mission.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. Two previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Hotari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details of the rendezvous.
What do we want to ask about? Or comment on the storm, ask about the crew, the diplomat. All right, we'll do it.
But are we prepared to embark on the mission?
As much as I'd like to think that's true, I have my doubts. But I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Ooh, he doubts his
I
crew.
expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
I think based on the choices we made, we're going sooner the better on this one, right, folks?
Hopefully that day comes sooner rather than later.
Pace yourself. Like I said, when it happens is entirely up to you. But first, you have to be willing to put in the work.
Of course.
Come. Let me introduce you to the crew.
Come.
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
There's usually, in TOS, there's one captain's chair. In the later series, there's usually, the center chair is always the captain's, but there's usually a seat to his right for the first officer and to his left for an advisor or a visiting diplomat or another crew member, second officer.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time, and I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
I don't think the choice here is that important, so I'm gonna go with X.
You've heard of me?
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're
Too late,
Parkovlia,
sorry.
because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves, and you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done, but you definitely set a standard to strive for.
Sorry, Kayla. I defer to you on this one.
That's very kind of you to say, but enough about me. We have a lot of work to do.
Oh, yes, of course.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
Operations. Staffing, supplies. There's a lot to keep track of on a starship. Good thing we have Commander Ermont.
Well, we were just inside Commander Rydek for a second.
Turbolift could take me anywhere on the ship, but I'm right where I need to be. Communications. Keeps us in contact internally and with other vessels. So many decks. Full of crew that are now my
God damn it.
responsibility.
That's what they said. There you go, Kayla. There's another one for you.
Tactical station. Hopefully a diplomatic mission won't require we use our weapons much. But if it comes to that, we'll be ready. Science station. The Resolute is a science vessel, primarily. Might explain Commander Westbrook's attitude. I'll have to speak with him later. Tactical holodias. Just like they've got on the Excelsior. The helm. The Resolute is a refitted Centaur class, meaning it's capable of quick maneuvers. Can't wait to see what she can do.
Miss anything yet? No. We just got the screen.
Impressive range of view.
That's all we've got to say about the view screen.
The first officer seat. My seat. Right now, though, I need to fill in for Captain Solano.
Yeah, that golden shower out there.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm. We just need your go-ahead.
Permission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field, now.
Entering maintenance mode. Condition blue.
I've never heard of condition blue before. Storm surge.
It's getting worse.
Looks like they turned off the SIF.
Great. Let's get to that emitter.
Okay, folks, that's a save point. I've been streaming this for an hour. I think I'm going to call it for this evening. Thank you, everybody, for joining this little bit of a makeup for missing out on streaming about Strange New Worlds this evening. If people like watching the Resurgence playthrough, we'll try to do more of this. Maybe do a playthrough of the entire game. So that is going to do it for Captain Johnny. Ensign Kayla in the chat. Peace and long life. Live long and prosper. Have a good night, everybody.